If you clicked on this video, it is because you go throughout your day and you lack consistent energy, you always have crashes, and you catch yourself relying on caffeine. And in this video, I'm about to show you what you can do and what you can incorporate in your day-to-day life to show you how I personally completely changed the way I feel on a daily basis. What does it mean to be stuck inside the energy matrix? So what does it actually look like to be stuck? Because most people are in it. I have some friends in it. I have family members in it that are stuck inside the energy matrix. You wake up with no motivation, and all you really want to do is get up, go about your day, lay in bed, scroll through brain rot, scroll through reels, and you're constantly reliant on caffeine. You feel lazy, and not occasionally, but consistently. And maybe the one that nobody talks about, but you have zero urge to interact with people, no desire to socialize, engage, and have true connection. And I'm a big believer in human connection is a cure to depression and anxiety. Right here, you must think, okay, this is what you got to understand before we go any further. Your body is a gift from God. It was designed to feel good, designed to feel smooth, energetic, feel alive. And that is the default standard, that's the default state your body is trying to get back to every single day. And quite frankly, if you're not feeling completely energized and just ready to absolutely attack and live every single day, then there is something wrong interiorly that is interfering. And we're going to talk about exactly what you can do to improve that. So one thing that you need to realize, right, is if you are stuck in this matrix, it is one of two of these problems. And first, we're going to be talking about your gut health. Gut health and lifestyle. First off, gut health. The worst thing you could do to start your morning is to start your day off with an insulin spike. They start their day and they just have no idea what they're doing. You pour your coffee, you load it with sugary creamer, you make a very high carb breakfast such as, hash browns, pancakes, oats, and this is going to cause your body's insulin levels to spike, and then whenever your blood sugar decides to drop, that is whenever you crash. You're gonna feel this crash around 10, maybe 11. Suddenly you can't focus, you feel terrible, you feel tired, and your body sends one message to you. And that is to get more caffeine. And that is just the start of this infinite loop. Spike, crash, caffeine, repeat. Spike, crash, caffeine, repeat. And this is the loop. And whenever you eat breakfast, make sure you target your breakfast around very high fat and very high protein. This is going to keep your blood sugar regulated, and it is not going to cause you to crash later down the road. Not only that, you guys, you must remember, okay, hold up. Carbs are short-term energy. Fats are long-term energy. So I start my day off every single day with a very high fat, high to moderate protein breakfast. And whenever you switch to this, pretty much the ideal scenario is drink your morning coffee with maybe a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, blend it in, and then try to push your first meal at least till 1 p.m. or later. Okay, the butter is going to keep you satiated, but if you cannot do that, if you work out in the mornings, depending on what my schedule is like, I tend to do that too. Okay, so if you work out in the mornings, I would recommend 1 tablespoon of honey before your workout, and then after your workout, that is whenever you do the eggs, the beef, the avocado, the butter. If you want to, maybe throw in another tablespoon of honey. I usually don't. I usually just get pre-workout carbs. Next thing you need to do that is causing you to fall into this matrix is you are constantly eating processed foods. If you do not know what a processed food is any food that is not in its original state, okay? So a non-processed food would be steak, any kind of meat. That's one ingredient. Let's go fruit. Only one ingredient in fruit, okay? Processed foods, pretty much all processed foods are going to be high in omega-6 fatty acids, and omega-6s is pretty much the main driver of chronic low energy, and it seems like nobody knows how to fucking connect the dots on that. Vegetable oils, fast food, fried food, all of it's loaded with omega-6s, and the problem isn't the omega-6s themselves, but the problem is the ratio of these omega-6s that everybody is getting. Okay, whenever you follow like the modern day Western diet, pretty much all of your omega-6s to your omega-3 ratio, pretty much everybody's like 15 to 1, 20 to 1, 30 to 1. You do not want that, okay? You want a ratio of maybe like 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 1 to 1. And if you don't do this, this is whenever your thyroid's gonna get fucked up, your metabolism's gonna get messed up, and everything. Okay, whenever the ratio is out of balance, you get inflammation, and whenever you're inflamed, your thyroid is the first thing that takes a hit. Okay, your thyroid. Sorry if I think I'm talking too fast. I think I'm talking fast. But anyway, your thyroid is the master regulator of your metabolism and your energy. Okay, whenever you are inflamed, your thyroid is not able to convert your hormones properly, and then your thyroid starts to, quote unquote, break down, causing your body to use all this energy to fix this problem, and it causes you to have fatigue, to have brain fog. It puts your body in a fat storage mode, and it messes with your neurological side of things as well. Hence why you have no motivation. You don't have the urge to talk to anybody, anything like that. And the fix. Oh, I guess I don't have the fix on here. Oh, that's my bad. But the fix is pretty much, it's not that complicated, okay? Try your best to cut out the vegetable oils, cut out the fried food, and cook with butter, cook with ghee, cook with beef tallow, coconut oil. I'm a big fan of olive oil as well. Avocado oil isn't too bad. However, that is definitely a little bit higher on omega-6s compared to olive oil or compared to a butter or a ghee or anything like that. So hence why everybody always says, take your fish oils, eat a lot of omega-3s, because whenever you get your omega-3s up and your omega-6s down, your body will start to calm the inflammation that is, pretty much suppressing your energy. And then another thing that I just kind of threw this in there, but whenever you're reading the ingredients on things, you need to look for different kinds of emulsifiers, okay? And what is an emulsifier? Emulsifier is a substance that stabilizes mixtures of liquids that normally don't mix. For example, water and oil. So if you notice, whenever you get some kind of dressing on the shelf at the grocery store, a lot of them do have these emulsifiers in them, and which is pretty much any of these right here. But whenever you make a dressing at home, you let it sit in the fridge overnight, it tends to separate, okay? And they add these emulsifiers pretty much just to like do shelf time, make them look pretty on the shelf. And think, if you are putting that in your body all the time, like, that's not okay. That is not okay. That's not real. It's man-made. They're chemicals, and it's quite literally, it's utterly bullshit, okay? But anyway, now that you know what an emulsifier actually is, you need to know why exactly do we avoid them, okay? And look, here's pretty much what it does whenever emulsifiers get into your gut, okay? Your gut lining has a layer of like this protective mucus, and that layer is your body's first defense system. Whenever emulsifiers, or they make their way into your gut, it damages that. And this gut, or this mucus layer, it keeps food particles and bacteria where exactly they need to be. And whenever this layer of mucus gets destroyed or gets tampered with, it allows these food particles and bacteria to leak inside the gut, and that is pretty much where you hear people say, like, oh, I have leaky gut, okay? Next up, we have prioritizing micronutrients over macronutrients. As you may know, and as a majority of you have probably heard, which is this, there's some truth to this. There's a lot of truth to this, but everybody says, calories in, calories out. Everybody is obsessed with macros nowadays, right? Everybody is obsessed with how much protein you're getting, how many fats you're getting, how many carbs you're eating. How many grams of protein did I get today? Am I in a calorie deficit? What's my carb intake? And here's the thing about macros, okay? Yes, they matter, but they are the surface level. They're as surface level as you could get whenever it comes to, actual bodily function, whenever it comes to hormone, whenever it comes to gut health, okay? Like, yes, macros matter, but micronutrients, that's what actually runs your engine. Okay, think of your body as an engine, and micronutrients is how you make that engine run properly. Okay, now there's several types of micros that that pretty much everybody needs, and that a lot of people are deficient on them based on just the modern day Western diet. Okay, so we have magnesium, the B vitamins, vitamin D. Let's see, we got zinc up in there, iron, blah blah blah. And these are the raw materials that your body needs. Your body cannot produce energy without these micros, if that makes sense. Without having proper micronutrients, okay? Your thyroid is all out of whack, which changes your metabolic rate. Here's kind of the piece that I think really connects everything. It's a proper thyroid. A proper thyroid health changes your resting metabolic rate. When your thyroid is running properly, running smooth, because of the micronutrients that you are getting, your body burns more energy while it is resting, while you are asleep. This absorbs all the nutrients more efficiently, regulates hormones, and pretty much the simple way to think about it is macros, right? Macros are the fuel. Micros itself are the engine, okay? And you could have all the fuel in the world, but if the engine is messed up somewhere, if your thyroid is messed up somewhere, the engine is broken, okay? And you're not going anywhere, dog. You're not going anywhere. And then down here, I really just talk about, all the different types of micros that everybody needs to be getting. Pretty much, okay, look, magnesium, pretty much it's in a bunch of fruit. Okay, zinc, it's in a lot of red meat, it's in a lot of proteins from animals. Vitamin D, you can get that from the sun, get it from fish. B vitamins, you can pretty much get, kind of the same thing, honestly, like any kind of animal protein. Avocados have a lot of B vitamins as well. Eggs, iodine. Eggs are very high in iodine as well, and iron. As you know, whenever if you got a bloody lip or something, it kind of tastes like metal. That's because your blood is very high in iron. In order to up your iron, just eat more red meat, bro. Eat more red meat. But anyway, that wraps it up whenever it comes to gut health. This is honestly your first line, your first step to escaping the energy matrix, is just fix the food that you are eating. But if you want to take everything a step further, which I think everybody should be living this kind of lifestyle anyway, you could fix your diet completely, but at the end of the day, if you still feel mediocre and your daily habits are absolute shit, then your food, it's pretty much just you're working against your body. And this is the part where I kind of find that a majority of people aren't necessarily aware of. But the thing is, it's because the media, or everything that you listen to nowadays, right? Whenever it comes to your lifestyle, everything that I'm about to say does not cost any money. Okay, this is all free. This is all just given to you by nature, by going outside, by just changing little aspects here and there. And that is a reason why I feel like it is not marketed as it should be, because quite frankly, these big companies aren't going to make any money off of you if you do these things. None of it requires equipment. It just requires you to kind of just have a better understanding of your body and how it actually works. And the first thing is, which, I'm guilty of this as well, but your dopamine is absolutely effed. And I'm going to say something that it's going to hit a little close to home, okay? But your dopamine is fucked up. And there's a very good chance that your phone did it. And I'm guilty of this as well. I'm a doom scroller at heart, but I try to do better on it. Whenever you're doom scrolling, that is considered cheap dopamine, okay? Cheap dopamine is constantly scrolling through your phone. Every few seconds, you swipe and then another hit of dopamine. You swipe again, another hit of dopamine. You swipe again, another hit of dopamine. Whenever you get an Instagram notification, boom, hit of dopamine. Whenever you rip the geek bar, okay, boom, another hit of dopamine. Every time you scroll through your feed, every notification, all of these are triggering your body's dopamine system. Your dopamine, it is not just the pleasure chemical, but it is the motivation chemical. It is the drive. It is the driving chemical that gives you the reason to want to do things, gives you the reason to want to, check things off of your to-do list. It makes you just want to get absolutely after it every single day. And whenever I say your dopamine is fucked, it is because your brain's reward system, it works on contrast, right? The higher you spike it artificially, which artificially is doom scrolling, notification, and nicotine, the less it responds to other normal things. Kind of thing. I like to compare it to the boy who cried wolf. Honestly, may sound, whatever. But real dopamine, okay? Real dopamine is a face-to-face conversation, a walk outside, a healthy meal. You start to feel flat, you start to feel unstimulating because your body's baseline, it has been raised so high by all the cheap dopamine that whenever you do small little tasks that usually would give you a natural spike of dopamine, it doesn't hit the same because, quite literally, your dopamine receptors are absolutely fried. And the connection that most people do not take into consideration is whenever you have low dopamine, that is the equivalent to feeling low energy, okay? The dopamine system has been overstimulated into exhaustion, and you're not lazy. You are not lazy. It's just been hijacked by a bunch of different man-made engineered things to keep your dopamine absolutely fried, like reels. Geek bar rip, 8:30 a.m. geek bar rip to the fucking dome, and it messes with you, dude. And I'm guilty of it as well. But I feel like I have been, I've really been doing a little bit better. I do not rip geek bars, by the way. Next up is morning grounding / sunlight. Okay, every single morning whenever I wake up, you know what I do? I walk to the bathroom, I rip a pisser, hit a little flex in the mirror. I sit down, or not sit down. I stand up on my scale, I weigh myself, drink some water, and I go outside and get some sunlight. Get some sunlight in the eyes. I, warm up my body a little bit with the hips. I hit some of these right here, hit some of these, hit some pigeons, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, the reason why sunlight matters so much is it resets your circadian rhythm. Your body has a 24-hour internal clock, and it regulates hormones, regulates your energy, every single organ, every single energy system in your body, pretty much. And that clock is set by one thing above everything else, and quite literally, it is the sun. It's day 7, if you know what I'm saying. No, that's ball. I don't think that's ball, but day 7. If you get that reference, let me know. But anyway, whenever direct sunlight just hits you right into the dome, right into the eyes, it sends a signal to your brain that the day, it has officially began. Your day is getting started. Your serotonin production kicks right in. It raises your body temperature. It properly spikes your cortisol in order for you to wake up and be more alert. Whenever you wake up in the morning and then you immediately, scroll through reels and you don't get any sunlight, your body doesn't know that it's daytime, right? So the increasing amount of cortisol in your body, it's not proper. It doesn't do it properly, and it gets kicked out of whack because you're not properly waking up from the sun. Since you're already outside getting morning sunlight to the freaking dome, you might as well go ahead and take your shoes off, fam. And not even on some weird shit, but take your shoes off, let the toes breathe, let the feet breathe, let the feet hit the ground. Because grounding, I just started incorporating grounding, honestly, within the past. I started incorporating it consistently pretty recently. But anyway, the reason behind grounding, right? So the earth, and I just learned this the other day, but earth carries a negative electric charge, and our bodies carry a positive electric charge. And this positive electric charge actually comes from stress, it comes from inflammation, it comes from overstimulating yourself. And whenever your bare feet make contact with the earth, they make contact with the ground, with the sand, all these positive electrons flow out from your feet and then go into the ground, and then all the negative electrons flow from the ground into your body. And that is what gives you like that neutral, just like calm feeling, because they're neutralizing each other, I mean, as direct as it can get. Not only that, studies have shown actually incredible reduction of inflammation whenever people go grounding, get into grounding as well. And it sounds like some hippie shit, I'm not gonna lie. Sounds like, a little crystal girl. Sounds like you're a little hippie boy, like, oh my god, I'm a tree hugger on my days. But I'm telling you, fam, it works. Do not knock it until you try it. Next thing to do to escape the energy matrix is whenever you wake up in the morning, I want you to wait at least an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours before you consume any sort of caffeine. And if you are drinking caffeine, I mean, go black coffee, dude. Go black coffee. If you can't drink black coffee, like grow the hell up, bro. Grow up, bro. Grow up. If you really need some kind of sweetness, add a splash of milk, maybe add a splash of honey. But the only time that I would ever recommend adding a splash of honey is if it's like right before a workout or right after a workout. Like I said earlier, bro, don't be spiking your insulin, man. Shit. How many times do I gotta say it? But anyway, your body has its own natural energy source, right? It has its own natural energy system that fires every single morning as soon as you wake up. And caffeine, you may think like, oh, well, if my body's naturally waking up, how come caffeine, well, why does caffeine just not add to it? And caffeine itself does not add to the system because it more so interrupts it, okay? And here's what's happening in the first hour. The moment you wake up, your cortisol starts to rise and it starts to peak around 45 minutes to an hour or so after you wake up. Your adrenaline gets a small natural pump, and this sharpens your focus. Your body temperature starts climbing. Your serotonin starts producing. And this is pretty much your built-in, think of it as a built-in pre-workout. And whenever this pre-workout gets messed up, it starts blocking these receptors in your brain. These receptors in your brain, what is it called? It's called like adenosine or something. Do I mention it right here? I don't mention it. Okay, hold on. Check this out. What is the receptor caffeine blocks off? It's like adenosine or adenosine. Adenosine, yes, sir. Anyway, caffeine works by blocking out this adenosine receptor. And adenosine is the compound that builds up your brain while you're awake. It makes you progressively sleepier over time. And caffeine sits in these receptors and prevents adenosine, I'm pretty sure it's adenosine, but it prevents them from binding, which makes you feel alert. But you may think to yourself like, oh my gosh, like, isn't that a good thing? But here's where the problem comes in, okay? Your body is already in the middle of doing that naturally. So instead of doubling the effect, it kind of acts as like a ceiling, kind of acts as this little barrier that completes it from doing all of that naturally. Whenever you wait 60 to 90 minutes, you let your cortisol peak properly and completely on its own. And then the caffeine comes in. It kind of extends the whole process rather than replacing the process. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know how long that was. I was just yapping for a minute. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. But anyway, there it is. That's pretty much the full picture. Oh shoot. That's pretty much the full picture. All right there. Why you were stuck in the low energy matrix. Give your body the proper fucking nutrients it needs, okay? Excuse my language. Dude, fix your gut health, fix your lifestyle, get morning sun, put your feet in the ground, protect your dopamine, stop feeding it BS. You know, none of this is necessarily complicated. It's definitely not an easy thing to do. It definitely could be relatively difficult, especially if you are straight up at square one. However, it's simple, but it is not easy. Okay, your body already knows how to feel good. You just have to stop giving it. You gotta stop getting in its way. And quite frankly, your lifestyle and the food that you're putting in your body is getting in its way. And anyway, if this video helped you, please give it a like. Please comment. Please do whatever. If you are interested in any one-on-one coaching, any nutrition coaching, lifestyle coaching, fitness and wellness coaching, please click the link below. I have an application in there. And you know, I do feel like I am very, very knowledgeable whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, and I've just been trying to do better at just sharing my knowledge with the people. So that is the reason why I made this video. I am, you know, pretty passionate about the human body, and I always have been. So trying to be more consistent with the tube. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. If you learned something new today, comment it down below. Thank you guys. Peace.